what Google is doing? How do you assess what they're doing when you're looking at it? Because there'll be competitors at some point. These are all eventual competitors.
Well, I think what Google's done a great job of showing the potential of autonomous transport.
Right.
But they're not a car company, so they would potentially license their technology to other car companies. And I think they announced something with Fiat. So I wouldn't say Google's a competitor because they're not a car company. We would compete with somebody perhaps that they license technology to, but not to them directly.
Right.
Apple?
Yeah, that'll be more direct.
That'll be more direct?
Yeah.
You can tell that by the hiring pattern and that
absolutely.
kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So what do you, okay, so they're going to be
Given
more
they've hired a lot
direct.
of
How do you
Tesla
assess it?
I say I think it's great that they're doing this, and I hope it works out.
What's the time frame for them, do you think?
I don't know. I think they should have embarked upon this project sooner, actually. But I don't know. I don't know when they. They don't share with me the details of their production plans. But I don't think it's going to be. I don't think they'll be in volume production sooner than maybe 2020. That'd be like the soonest.
And is that too late? When you say they should have embarked sooner, is that because 2020 will be too late to stop you or beat you or compete with you or what?
No, it's just like it's a missed opportunity. It's just
It'll be over by 2020?
No, it's not. It's just like it's a couple of years. I think they'll probably make a good car and probably be successful. The car industry is very big, so it's not as though there's one company to the exclusion of others. There's like a dozen car companies in the world of significance. So, and the most that any company has is approximately 10% market share. So it's not like somebody comes up with a car and they're suddenly they kill everyone else. It's not that way. And the sheer scale of automotive manufacturing is just. It's hard to appreciate until you see the plants. They're gigantic.
Yeah,
like the industrial,
I have seen the plants.
Yeah, the sheer size of the industrial infrastructure is staggering.
Not just the assembly plant, but everything else that goes.
Yeah, the supply chain, exactly. The assembly plant is just a little tip of the iceberg, really.
Yeah,
the assembly plant is literally tip of the iceberg.
Phenomenal.
The supply chain is, once you go to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 suppliers, that's probably an order of magnitude more than the final assembly.
So you think Google will not be a competitor? Apple probably will be a direct competitor.
Yeah, sure.
What about the car companies?
I think they'll all be competitors. Yeah, sure.
Who do you see out there that has done a nice job so far? Mercedes or
GM?
Of what?
Of a competitive car.
Of the incumbents.
A potentially competitive car, I guess.
I don't think any of the car companies thus far have made a really great electric car. You tell me if you disagree, but I don't think yet that any of them have made a great electric car.
Okay.
They, presumably will continue to improve on what they've done so far, and then at some point they may make a car that's a great car, but no, they haven't done that yet.
Can I ask you about batteries for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So you're building this gigafactory, right? It's built.
It's not completely built.
Okay, but part of it's up and running.
A big chunk of it's built, yeah.
Part of it's up and running.
It's a really gigantic thing. It's like when the gigafactory's done, it'll be the largest footprint building of any kind in the world. Of any kind, not just factories, literally of any kind.
What is this? The largest rocket, the largest building?
Well, I think it's not scale for scale's sake. It's just like if you say, well, we want to accomplish these goals, then you kind of have to make a big thing. So,
okay. You've got this big thing. It's this big, giant building.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to make batteries. The batteries it's going to make are lithium.
We're going to have an opening, well, it's not technically an opening party since it's been operating for a little while, but we're going to have a party soon. You guys maybe want to come.
We can
Okay.
come? All right,
Yeah,
good.
sure.
We'll come to the
Can they-
battery
It's
party.
pretty-
But they can't
I
come.
love
It's worth seeing.
They
This is
can't
like,
come, right? Just us.
this
Yeah.
is crazy.
No.
This is like an alien dreadnought. It's really nutty.
Because I love a battery party, but
Yeah.
Right, but
talk about where it's going.
Are these lithium-ion batteries?
Yeah, sure.
So they're the same batteries that's in
No.
our phone?
No.
they're not. Please explain.
Yeah, so lithium ion.
Have you made a battery breakthrough is something I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, generally there's so much nonsense out there about batteries. Like you can believe about 1% of what you read, maybe. Lithium ion covers a very broad range of technologies, and you can have an enormous difference in the power density and the energy density and the cycle life between one chemistry and another. They can be really enormously different. What you really actually want to ask is what is the cathode and what is the anode?
Right.
So in our case,
That's right.
Okay.
well,
I just put it in the
the lithium is
PlayStation
actually
for my kids.
2% of the cell mass. So it's like the salt in the salad. It's a very small amount of the cell mass and a fairly small amount of the cost. But it sounds like it's big because it's called lithium ion, but it really, like our battery should be called nickel graphite because it's mostly nickel and graphite.
Okay, and
It's nickel, cobalt, aluminum,
but battery
the other little things, and graphite with a silicon oxide layer. on the
battery
anode.
efficiency or power that the power that you can store in a certain mass seems to be move very slowly, at least compared to we're used to Moore's law pushing integrated circuits faster. Batteries kind of are always in our consumer devices always lagging behind. You've built this giant thing, the biggest building in the world has ever seen.
It's not fully built, but yes, it's
You're building
pretty
the
big
biggest
chunk is
building the
built.
world
So
has
yeah,
ever
yeah,
seen.
yeah.
To make batteries. Your whole business depends on batteries in these cars. Have you figured out a way to do some significant increase in the yield of energy from a given amount of space in the battery?
Well, yeah, I mean, the energy density is increasing sort of maybe on the order of like 5-ish% per year. And it doesn't sound like much, but you add that up over a number of years with compound interest, it ends up being quite a significant number. And a lot of people sort of think that, oh, well, we just sort of cobbled together some laptop batteries and somehow made a great car. But if it was that easy, then I think we would have quite a few competitors who did the same thing. But it's really quite a lot harder than that. It's a cylindrical form factor, but the internals of the battery are quite different from what you would find in a laptop. And will be increasingly different with what's built at the Gigafactory, which is highly optimized for automotive, and has improved energy density. But mostly, it's not the energy density that's the issue, because you can buy, if you buy a Model S today, the range is around 300 miles, and that's quite a lot. So it's pretty rare that people really need to go more than 300 miles at a time without stopping.
Right.
So I don't think we really have a range issue. And we could make a 400-mile range car today. Like, that wouldn't be too big of a deal. So what really matters is decreasing the cost per unit of energy of the battery packs, so you can make the car affordable. That's actually the important thing. So there's really two main dimensions along which cost optimization and making something available to the mass market can be achieved. One is design iteration, going through multiple versions of something, and then the other is economies of scale. And you kind of need both of those things in order to make a compelling mass market product. And you look at like cell phones and how many design iterations have we gone through with cell phones, and look at the scale at which they're made, which is enormous. And that's what enables everyone to have a supercomputer in their pocket.
So speaking of that, the sales, when we're talking about the sales, you have booked how many orders for
It's on the order of 400,000.
400,000. So
400, yeah,
obviously, consumer interest and a promise. A lot of it around you, around the idea of you and Tesla and the excitement. They're not booking.
It was quite surprising, actually. I mean, because we didn't do any advertising, or there was no guerrilla marketing or anything. It was just basically like, yeah, we're going to have this webcast. There were only about 1,000 people in the audience, and it really caught us by surprise. But I think, when you have a product that really resonates with customers, the word of mouth grows like wildfire.